I'm going to try to make this short. Yeah, right. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. When Bear was alive, he ended up having a lump over like over his right ear, on top of his head. So behind the eye, so to speak, but over the right ear. It started out as a little knot and it started to grow. We go to Frenchie, which is our vet, and she says, well, she thinks that he should have, what do you call it? Yeah, x-rays or whatever it is. It wasn't x-rays, it was the other one. And there's a place in North Haven that does this. Now, there's a place in North Haven that's a 24-hour emergency care service. And they have all the equipment to do anything that, like, they got trauma centers in there for animals. So anyway, I go there. They take Bear into the back and they give him his whatever it was they were doing to see what's going on. And they come out and they say, okay, here he is, and everything's fine. The doctor will get a hold of you as soon as they read the charts and all that, and everything's fine. So they get a hold of us, and the next thing you know, he's telling us on the phone that Bear has cancer, and he needed to go for radiation and chemo. Okay, but we don't do that here. That's done in our Stamford location. Now, Stamford is a big money town around here. It's right next to New York. So a lot of people that work in New York, because of the money is big in New York, because the expenses are big in New York, they live in New York, but they work in New York, but they live in Stamford. Letterman, Whitney Houston had a home and all this, but I can go on with a list of big money people. I says, oh, he says, okay. He said, but it's going to cost you about $1,800, and it's 3 times a week for 12 weeks. No, 12 sessions. So that's what, 4 weeks? Yeah, about that. So, and he's going to need chemo. So it's $1,800. Now I'm thinking that was for the whole thing. It was per. So every other day, basically, except for on weekends, we were going to be going up there and giving them $1,800, which is also about an hour 15-minute ride, depending on the time in the day, one way. Now the ride is not important. That's something that would have been done without question if that was the only thing holding us up. So, and that was another $900 for the chemo pill, the way I understand it anyway. So we're looking at 18 plus 9, $2,700 a day times 12 days. And I said, well, geez, that's something we got to talk about, So Darlene and I are talking about it, And right now it's in its beginning stages, so-called beginning stages. He does have it, and it has grown about the size of I don't know, maybe small, about the size of a large marble, maybe a little bigger. And we're thinking about, okay, well, it's got to be. He was 9.5 at the time, going on 10. So, he's still a healthy dog, and, you guys have all seen Bear, I'm sure, and, so this is something that we should do. It's going to put a little damper on a few things, but it's something that we should do, and we're talking about it. Well, about 3 days later, Frenchie calls us, which is our vet, the one that sent us there to have this work done, and she says to us, did he talk to you? Did he ever call you? I go, yeah. He says, and Darlene and I have been talking about it now, for the last 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it was. And she goes, well, is there anything that I can help you with? What are you guys talking about? Well, basically, one is the expense, and is it really needed? Can we trust him? Can we not trust him? I don't want to put him through that, and to find out that the last days of his life were misery because of the radiation bombardments, to have it not work. He says, I don't know why he told you that, because what he has cannot be cured. I go, what? She goes, yeah. I said, so this guy is telling us this, knowing this, so that they can do this, basically $3,000 a day times 12. You know, hello, this is not a place that's for your pet. This is a place that's for their pocket. Now, I understand business, been there, but come on, you know? That is definitely bullshit. She goes, listen, he's not in pain. He's not bumping into things. He's not losing any body functions because it was near his brain. Well, actually, it was part of his brain. But meanwhile, I would recommend that whatever he has is not curable. You know, she knew what it was, but it's not curable. I would recommend that just let him live it out. And when he starts bumping into things or losing his bodily functions or, you know, not eating anymore, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, then we just do what we need to do. I said, all right. So he made it to 10 and a half. About 3 months before before she came to the house, you know, it got a lot bigger. But at that point, so much for that. So this place lied to me. So now Frenchie says to me, with Bud, there's a place in Guilford that can take care of this, but they're going to want to see him, and you know, they'll remove the whole inner ear canal. I said, okay. I says, if it needs to be. I said, okay. He said, they'll take, what's the word? Not x-rays, ultrasounds and stuff, and that'll let them know more about what's going on. I said, okay. So we make the appointment. She says, I says, as long as it's not that place in North Haven, because, you know, she goes, I understand. She goes, but I got to be honest, it's the same company. In other words, they have more than one location. They have this one, the North Haven, the Guilford, and this other one they're related to out in Stanford. She says, but I know a doctor there, a female doctor, and, you know, she'll be straight with you. Okay. So first of all, I get there, and it's bullshit. I make the appointment. I'm in the parking lot. You got to call. I call. Guy answers the phone. Dr. So-and-so. Whoa. Well, what happened was the number I read was wrong because it was pouring rain that day. I did a video on it. I'm not going to bore you with that again. So anyway, I says, oh, listen, I said, this is Buzz. I'm out here with Bud. I said, and I was just wondering, I wanted to let you know I'm here. And is it all right if I come in with the Bud? Oh, yeah, not a problem. You know, if you want to come in, you can come in. You know, blah, blah, blah. He says, now let the front desk know you're out there. You know, so I said, okay. So I'm waiting, and I call again. And when I call, I get a woman on the phone, and I said, I just called up about 10 minutes ago to let you know I was out here. And a doctor answered the phone and said that he was going to let you know. Oh, he did. It came over the internet, over the intercom. Now, you know, she said, well, we know you're out there. It came over the intercom. She didn't say he or anything like that. So at that point, I said, okay, great. I said, now he also said I can come in. No, building policy is nobody comes in. So I says, well, he said I can come in. Well, who was he? You know, so first of all, now we got a big bullshit session going on this. How did they're saying that doctor doesn't exist there. Because I called that doctor back with her, and we got his answering machine saying, hello, this is Dr. So-and-so, and I got it stuck to her ear. And she goes, no, we have no doctors that have that name here, and we don't have any male doctors in here. I says, when I called, you told me that it came over the intercom that I was out here. She goes, yeah. I said, I didn't call anybody else but that number. So how did you know I was out here? You don't know my van. Right? You can't even see my van from where you're sitting in there. You know, I said, it's pouring rain out, so even if you did see the van, you know, I says, you didn't see Bud. You know, I mean, so how did you? Well, I don't know. All right, can't go in. Here. So she takes Bud, she goes in. Bud comes out. I'm on the phone with my consultation that cost me almost $300, $292, I think it was. And I'm talking to the doctor. And and she's telling me that his inner ear should be removed because, you know, basically it's closed up and it's, you know, housing bacteria, which I knew that. You know, I actually mentioned it to her, and we talked back and forth, and I said, okay. And then I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. She says, so now, she says, it could be we may have to do both ears. We're not going to know that until we do the ultrasound, or whatever it is you're going to do. So I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. He's here for a consultation. You should be able to tell me and not give me, I don't know, until. You know, that's not an answer. That's why he's here. You know, and meanwhile, I'm on the phone. She wouldn't even come out to the foyer and stand on the inside of the door while I stood outside the door. So I don't even know what this bitch looks like. So anyway, that's what she's telling me. She says, so now I'm going to put you on the phone with the people that handle the billing and all that, and they'll give you an estimation as to what it's going to cost and this and that. And I said, all right. So another person gets on the phone. And the next thing you know, we're up to $10,000, $9,000 and change, possibly $12,000 and change, depending on if it was both ears. It started out at $5,000 and gradually climbed. There was another $2,800 or something for not ultrasound. I don't know what it was, but you know, it was like a high-end MRI. You know, and I said, well, wait a minute. You know, how can she be giving me a diagnosis on this ear removal? Because they won't know what he has, or if it's going to be taken care of by trying to fix the ear or remove the ear. You know, not the ear, but everything inside, so he'd look normal. Wait a minute, this is what the consultation, this is what I just paid $300 for. And now they want to, you know, how can they give me an answer on something that they don't know? You know, and it's not making sense to me. And then, you know, like I say, now what's coming up to me is when they lied about the front door with me not talking to them. You know, it's part of the same company that gave me the bullshit session about Bear, trying to get in my pocket. And now we went from $5,000, and with all these little add-ons, you know, and possibly another ear, you know, if he had an ear in his ass, they would probably want to remove that one. So at that point, you know, we're up to $9,000, $10,000, $12,000. You know, it's like pumping gas. It just keeps going up. So I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. And I'm just trying to hold myself back because, you know, I'm about ready to call this bitch just what I think she is. And if they need to work on his ear, and, you know, at this point, well, then that's another story. So I got to stay on the good side of it. So anyhow, I said, we're going to have to think about it. He says, now, is this an outpatient? Oh, no. I said, all right, so if I drop him off in the morning, you know, you'll do it in the morning. I want to set it up so it gets done in the morning. This here way I can pick him up the next day, the next afternoon or evening. Yeah, maybe even 2 nights, and that'll depend on, you know, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I can kind of understand some of this, but if you guys, and everybody's a little different, so you can't always say, you know, if you've been doing it for 100 years, you know, you should know. I understand there's a chance, but if you've been doing it and you're a specialist, because you're charging specialist prices, you should have a pretty good idea, you know, like, well, you know, the chances are maybe 90% that he can come home the second day, but he may have to stay the third. Give me something. You know, don't just give me direct, you know, whatever you want to do. Because then it's going to cost an extra $300 and change. Which is, if we're spending $12,000, what's another $300? But it's like they're just trying to, you know, every penny out of you. So anyway, I said, email it to my wife, and we'll talk about it. And we got a hold of Frenchie. And she says, well, she says, that's a little steep. She says, I understand your concern. She says, but if that's what it's got to be, you know. Now, to make it back up a minute, the new vet we're using for the other guy, he's right around the corner here. I'm not totally comfortable with him yet, but I get along with him. I think he's going to be okay. And he had said that if he brought in his surgeon, it could be as high as $2,800. Okay. $2,800, I'd have it done in a heartbeat. You know, if they said both ears $5,000, I'd have it done in a heartbeat. However, when you start getting up to 10, 12 grand, you know, it's another story. Hey, honey, you want a treat? Hold on, man, I gotta get you on a treat. Does Jim want a treat? Okay, come here.